I thought I would wake up in sharp pain from a harsh attack. Instead, I woke to a silence so heavy it felt like a real weight pressing on my chest. The fire I had carefully built had burned down to warm, glowing embers. My eyes moved quickly to the corner where I had left a large, wounded wolf. The wolf was gone. My heart raced heavily inside my chest. I moved backward quickly, my fingers reaching for the hunting knife in my boot. Had the animal left to rest elsewhere, or was it lingering near the hut right now?
You're awake.
The voice was not animal-like at all. It was deep, rich, and clearly a man's voice. The man sat leaning against the wall, his eyes following every nervous move I made. His fair upper body was marked with old, faded scars. His dark hair passed his broad shoulders, but it was his eyes, bright, wild, and sharp. Exactly the same as the wounded wolf.
You're a shapeshifter.
Yes, most of my kind do not end up badly hurt unless others wish to take our place.
Who are you?
He watched me for a long, tense moment. The air felt heavy with a mysterious tension.
My name is Kaelen. I am the Alpha King of the Northern Wastes.
I had unexpectedly become connected to the most powerful being across the land. 2 days earlier, the beast was sinking, and I was already halfway down the treacherous, frozen riverbank. Before my rational mind caught up to my feet. Stupid! This is incredibly stupid, I scolded myself, my breath pluming in the freezing air. I possessed no weapon of consequence, no proper shelter, and my stomach twisted with the kind of hollow, biting hunger that made my hands shake uncontrollably. The absolute last thing I needed was to drown in a frozen wasteland, trying to save an apex predator. It wasn't thrashing or fighting the icy current. It was simply accepting the end. It was the exact same hollow expression my mother had worn in her final days, when the village healers had refused to treat her because I couldn't pay their extortionate fees. I knew exactly what it looked like when a living soul surrendered to death. The river surged like liquid obsidian, jagged chunks of ice swirling in the current like broken glass. The massive wolf had been caught in a slow, churning eddy near the bank. One of its massive legs was bent at a sickening angle, and a brutal, deliberate gash laid its ribs bare. The edges were singed black, the undeniable mark of a pure silver blade. My worn boots slipped on the frozen mud as I scrambled closer to the edge. My fingers were completely numb as I tested the ice, hearing it groan ominously beneath my insignificant weight. "Don't," I gasped. The ice sang a high, threatening note beneath me, warning me that it was far too thin. "You're going to fall through, Freya," a voice whispered in my mind. I ignored the instinct to run and reached out. My hands plunged into the biting water, my fingers closing around his coarse, freezing scruff. God, he was heavy. I pulled with everything I had, my shoulder joints screaming in agony. The ice fractured beneath us both with a terrifying sound resembling shattering pottery. "Come on," I screamed into the howling wind, my boots scrabbling for traction. Together in a chaotic tangle, we surged forward onto the solid, unforgiving earth. I rolled onto my back, my chest heaving as I stared up at the indifferent, glittering stars. My fingers had crossed the threshold of pain into a distant, terrifying, burning sensation. He was watching me intently, the catastrophic gash on his ribs weeping vivid crimson onto the snow. But his amber eyes held mine with a shocking, piercing intelligence. Slowly, the massive beast bowed his head to me, the undeniable gesture of a man expressing deep gratitude. What have I gotten myself into? The abandoned shepherd's hut I had discovered 2 days prior was a miserable excuse for a sanctuary. The roof was half caved in, and the heavy wooden door hung pathetically by a single rusted hinge. I had meticulously stuffed the drafty gaps with dead grass, constructing a crude fire pit from smooth river stones. Now I found myself agonizingly dragging a dying predator toward it, my arms burning with lactic acid, my lungs screaming for oxygen. He was incredibly heavy, forcing me to stop every few minutes. He was a dead weight, leaving a dark, macabre trail of blood in the snow behind us. Almost there, I coaxed, talking aloud simply to keep the rising tide of panic at bay. The beast's amber eyes cracked open, pinning me with a look. "Stop looking at me like that," I muttered, hauling him over the threshold. "Like you know something I don't." I collapsed against the splintering wall, my entire body quaking. Logic dictated I should leave him to his fate. Instead, I struck my flint. The flames caught slowly, stubbornly, as if they resented being summoned. A warm glow finally illuminated the small space. The wolf watched me work, firelight reflecting in his amber gaze. "I don't have bandages," I whispered. "I don't have medicine. I don't even have clean water." I worked in silence, methodically cleaning the wound and pressing the fabric against the bleeding flesh. The wolf emitted small, tight sounds, suppressed growls of a proud creature fighting to mask his agony. "I know," I murmured softly, my hands stained with his blood. "I know it hurts." His leg was severely broken. I did the best I could, securing it with sturdy branches. I had saved a lethal beast that could rip me to shreds the moment he recovered his strength. And I had trapped myself in a confined space with him. At least I won't die alone. The wolf made that strange, rumbling sound again. A sound that felt impossibly like agreement. Exhaustion pulled me down, and I curled up, plunging into a dreamless, heavy sleep.
You're lying.
I am not.
The torn flesh was healing at a miraculous, unnatural speed that should have taken months.
The rivals I mentioned ambushed me 3 days ago. They slipped wolfsbane into my drink. They assumed if they slaughtered me in my wolf form, it would be dismissed as a mishap.
Why are you telling me this?
Because you saved my life. Because you are wielding a knife that couldn't slice through butter.
What have I gotten myself into?
A target on your back should my enemies discover you aided me. Take whatever supplies you require. I am capable of making it back alone.
But as I looked at the powerful, broken king, I remembered the way the beast had bowed to me.
You will die, and I did not freeze half to death just to watch you bleed out.
Why did you pull me out?
I saw you sinking and I just moved. I suppose I am not most people.
A day, perhaps 2. And then I will return home and deal with the traitors. You could come with me to my court in the northern wastes.
I am a penniless runaway. What exactly would I do in a palace of wolves?
Live. Without constantly looking over your shoulder. Without wondering if you will starve.
I don't need saving.
I never said you did. I am offering to pay a life debt. You threw yourself into freezing water for a dying beast. You never even considered it.
I will stay until you are healed. Then we'll see.
For the next 2 days, the Alpha King and I existed in a strange, fragile domesticity. I braved the snow to check my snares, catching a single scrawny rabbit.
When did you last eat?
Yesterday, or the day before. I'm fine. So are half the humans living in your borderlands. We manage.
As he healed, the questions poured out. He asked why I was in the woods alone. I told him the truth. My father had passed away, and my mother had grown very ill with a fever because we couldn't afford medicine. In debt, I had been arranged to marry a harsh, wealthy merchant who had already lost 2 wives. I ran 3 weeks ago. Turns out freedom is a lot colder than I anticipated.
You'd rather freeze than marry him. Every single time.
He shared his own burdens. He had been forced onto the throne at 19 after his father died. He spoke of his desire to protect not just the strong wolves, but the vulnerable humans.
We still have dishonest nobles and overpriced healers, but I am working to change it.
I wanted to believe him. The sincerity in his voice stirred something quiet within me. On the 4th morning, the peace of our isolated sanctuary was broken. I heard them before I saw them. The heavy, steady crunch of paws on snow. Kaelen was on his feet in an instant, his large, muscular body instinctively moving to shield me.
How many?
3, maybe 4, I whispered, scared. The wooden door creaked open suddenly. A large gray wolf filled the frame. Then they changed. 1 second they were wolves, and the next, 3 people dropped to their knees.
Your Majesty, thank the goddess. We have been searching non-stop.
Report.
The attack was planned by Lord Draven's group. Who is this?
The reason I am still alive. She is under my full protection. Make sure the entire pack knows this. Anyone who treats her poorly will answer to me.
Looking at Kaelen, confident, noble, I realized I did not belong in this world. I should go, I whispered. Kaelen turned to me, the kingly manner fading to show a raw, gentle vulnerability.
Come with us to the northern place. You saved my life. I don't want you to be a duty, Freya. You are a choice I am making. Let me make it.
My chest ached with a longing so strong it scared me. I need time, I breathed. When dawn broke, painting the snow in silver light, Kaelen opened his eyes and looked right at me. I'll come, but if I feel trapped, I am leaving. And I am not bowing to you or calling you your majesty.
Understood.
We walked into the sunrise. He didn't march ahead of me like a king leading a peasant. He walked beside me, matching my pace, treating me as an equal. The Northern Wastes territory was not the cold stone dungeon I had envisioned. It was a breathtaking, sprawling stronghold carved directly into the heart of the mountain, bustling with hundreds of wolves and humans living in harmony. For the first few days, Kaelen was swallowed by his royal duties, dealing with the fallout of the treason, while Sienna escorted me to a lavish guest suite.
The king does not offer his protection lightly. He is a good man. Try not to break him too badly.
I explored the stronghold, marveling at the vast libraries and training yards. When Kaelen finally came to my door on the 4th night, he looked utterly exhausted, still dressed in his formal, dark regalia.
The council wants me to marry immediately to stabilize the succession.
Are you going to?
Eventually, when I find someone who doesn't just see a throne to sit on. I am still figuring out how to navigate this, Freya. But I know I think about you more than I should. During council meetings, I wonder what you would say.
I'm scared. I'm scared of wanting this, of believing it's real.
I'm scared too, of wanting you so badly that I forget you need to choose this.
Give me time. I'm here. That's all I can promise right now. That's enough. As the weeks turned into months, a beautiful, unconventional rhythm formed. I dined with him, taught myself to read better in his libraries, and observed the way he ruled, with empathy, always prioritizing the weak, just as he had promised. The whispers of the court labeled me his human mistress, but Kaelen treated me like a queen. One night, after a rogue attack on a border village left 15 dead, I found him on the high balcony, crushed by the weight of his crown.
What's the point of being king if I can't keep people safe?
The point is that you try, even when you fail. You are not a god, Kaelen. You are just a man doing his best, and sometimes that has to be enough.
I want you every day.
Then he kissed me. It wasn't the forceful, dominating kiss of a beast claiming a mate. It was a gentle, reverent question. But as my lips parted, the heat of the bond flared between us. I kissed him back, my hands tangling in his dark hair. His arms banded around my waist, lifting me flush against his hard, muscular frame. And the ice around my heart shattered completely.
Stay. Not as a guest, just stay.
Okay, and I meant it. 3 months later, I found myself standing in the Great Hall, not as a trembling runaway, but as the voice of the humans. Kaelen had called a summit of the regional alphas, and he had asked me to speak. They need to hear from someone who isn't officially packed, he had told me, pressing a kiss to my temple. I stood before the most terrifying men in the realm and told them my story. I spoke of the crushing poverty, of my mother's preventable death, of the nobles who exploited us. You boast of protecting humans from rogues. I challenged, meeting the glare of a hostile alpha. But what about protecting them from sickness, from starvation? Every human in your territory has a name, a story, and value. Treat them like it if you want true loyalty. When I sat down, my hands were shaking, but the room was silent. Kaelen looked at me with a pride so fierce it practically glowed. That evening, wrapped in his arms on the starlit balcony, the mountain wind whipping around us, I finally felt at peace. Have you thought more about taking the pack bond? He asked softly, referencing the mystical tie that would formally make me his mate. I don't know, I admitted, leaning back against his solid chest, feeling the steady thrum of his heart. I like being in between, human enough to speak for them, but close enough to you to be heard. That's fair, he murmured, pressing an open-mouthed kiss to the sensitive skin of my neck, sending a shiver down my spine. I turned in his arms, smiling up at the scarred, beautiful man who had changed my destiny. I pulled you out of that river, I teased softly, tracing the line of his jaw. You still owe me. How do you want me to repay the debt? He asked, his hands tightening possessively on my waist, pulling my hips against his. I think you already are, I whispered, by letting me be myself, by keeping your promise. I laughed, pulling him down for a kiss that tasted of snow and heat and forever. Whatever shadows the future held, we would face them together. Because he had given me a reason to stop running, and I had given him my heart.